Hello again, film fans. Okay, wow. I just came from seeing 90 Minutes this morning at 9 a.m. And I'll tell you something, 9 a.m. screenings are not exactly, my favorite. Because you're often, so drowsy and everything, but this one sure fucking woke me up. This movie was absolutely stunning, powerful, very visceral. It's the kind of movie that we all go to Tiff for. We go to Tiff to see movies like this. Okay, this is a Norwegian film, and the director, I have the information on hand right now. Her name is Eva Sorhaug, or Sorhaug, I believe, Sorhaug. And she's Norwegian. She's a Norwegian filmmaker. She's made one other movie called Cold Lunch, I believe, which I have not seen. But this movie, one of the actors in it is the guy some of you may remember from last year's film Headhunter, who he played the art thief, the upscale art thief, and his name is Aksel Hennie, this guy. And let me tell you something. You're going to be seeing a lot more from this guy. The American directors are going to be dying to get their hands on him because he's a movie lover's dream. I mean, the guy's great looking, very sexy, just he's the kind of guy that any director would want in a film. And he's very edgy also. He's a young, edgy guy. So watch out for Aksel Hennie. You may see him coming to a theater near you in an American film someday. I hope he doesn't sell out. I hope he doesn't end up in some fucking Bond movie or some Spider-Man shit or something like that. But anyway, that's beyond the point. Let me get on with my review here. Okay, this movie, 90 Minutes, is about the last 90 minutes in the lives of three characters. And there are three different storylines, three different stories going on at the same time. Now, the director, this woman, if you think a woman can't make a tough movie, if you think a woman can't make a hard movie, a violent movie, this is a very violent movie. So it's not for the squeamish, definitely. But I'm telling you something, this woman knows how to do it, okay? This movie is like a punch in the face. Okay, where should I start? Three stories. One of them is the main character is a very elegant, seems to be kindly old businessman who's very methodical in everything he does. When the movie opens, he's canceling his magazine subscriptions. He's canceling the rent on an apartment, so you know something is up in his life. He's looking very worried, very concerned all the time. We don't know exactly what's going on, but we know that something has happened in this guy's life and something major is going on. The second story is a family. At first we don't find out the dynamic. Well, the dynamics are pretty clear. There's a lot of tension between the husband and the wife. He's over at the house. She doesn't look happy for him to be there. They've got beautiful little kids running around. And the wife is paying him very little attention. Obviously doesn't want him to be there, but he keeps hanging around. And the third story, which Aksel Hennie is the main character in, is he plays this kind of punky-looking, edgy, working-class guy, almost a skinhead. Not quite a skinhead, because he's got a little bristly hair coming up. But he's, really sort of punky, raw-looking guy. And when his story opens, he's sitting alone at his kitchen table, bandaging his hand, watching something on TV and kind of chuckling at it. And, so we're not sure exactly what's going on in each of these stories, but with each of them, with each progression, each segment lasts, I'd say, about 10 or 15 minutes per segment, and then it'll go 1, 2, 3, and then continue on again and go back to segment 2 of each story. So it kind of loops around, and there's 3 acts. The director was there at the screening today, and she gave a Q&A at the end, which I'll talk a little bit about. But anyway, so each story, as it moves along, reveals a little bit more, and a little bit more, and a little bit more, and it keeps, the tension is building and building and building in every story. In the first one with the businessman, we know, as I said, we know obviously something is happening. We're not sure exactly what. Looks like he may be having some financial problems. He may be planning to commit suicide. I'm not quite sure. And the second one with the husband and the wife, it keeps getting more and more tense between them. He keeps refusing to leave. You know, then they have an argument. And then in the third one, okay, this story, the one with the Aksel Hennie's character. At first, he's sitting alone at the kitchen table. Then we see him get up and go to a doorway, and he's standing there just by himself. His, you know, body silhouetted by the doorway. Magnificent body too, by the way. Couldn't help but notice. And anyway, he takes his shorts off, so he's like nude from the waist down. And then we see that he's in the bedroom doorway, and then we see somebody's feet kind of hanging out, sticking out on a bed, and he gets on the bed and starts having sex with this person. So we don't know whether this person is there consensually, if he's raping somebody, who is there, if it's even a man or a woman, we don't know. So like I said, this director is really like masterful at revealing details a little bit at a time. And each detail she reveals, it just gets worse and worse and worse and more harrowing and more suspenseful, and you just don't know what's coming. Like, you know something bad is going to happen. You just know something bad is going to happen, right? So anyway, when he finishes having sex with this person, then the camera goes into the room and we see that it's a woman. Her mouth is taped up, her hands, her wrists are like tied to the bed, and then the camera pans over and we see a little crib in the corner and there's a baby in the crib. So we're not like, has he abducted this person? Who is this, right? So anyway, eventually it's revealed that this is a couple. This is either his girlfriend or his wife. And this guy he's a wife abuser. He beats on her, beats the crap out of her whenever he gets frustrated, and this and that. So I don't want to reveal too much about this movie in case any of you see it, because it's really, like I said, masterful in the way that she reveals details of each story a little bit at a time, letting you know this much, this much, this much, and then it all culminates in disaster at the end. That's all I'm going to say. Okay, now, as I said, the director was there afterwards for a Q&A, which was great. And somebody in the audience asked her why she made the film, what the point of the film was, because it is a very, very difficult film to watch. It's like even now, it's maybe about an hour and a half, 2 hours later, I can still feel it in my chest. The tension, you know, and just I really get emotionally involved when I see a really good movie. I can so easily transport myself into the movie, and that's the mark of a great director, when they're able to, you know, let the audience members go in and feel like just like you're part of the scenery along with the characters. So as I said, somebody in the audience asked her why she made the film, and she said that in Norway, apparently it is the spousal abuse capital of Europe, along with being also the most gender equal country in Europe. Feminism is really, you know, taking great strides over there. Women have a lot of rights, and they're listened to, and it's a very progressive country. But she says there is this element of, you know, there's a lot of spousal abuse going on there. So each and then it's weird because excuse me, I never really thought about it as being a movie about domestic violence, especially in the first story, because it's not an overt domestic violence what happens. It is, but not the way that it's done. I mean, obviously in the third story where the guy's pummeling his wife in the face, you know it's domestic violence. And then in the second story, I don't know if I should reveal this or not, but it ends up, it's peaceful up until the very last segment when the guy just kind of goes off and freaks out, and it's, you know. And there was I have to say, there's one shot that I'm always going to remember from that segment, the second segment, when the estranged husband comes back into the house, and, you know, you can pretty much guess what he does. He's an estranged husband, his wife doesn't want him there, she kicks him out, and he doesn't take too kindly to it. So anyway, he comes into the house, does his thing, and then there's a shot of the kitchen. And in the distance, there's like a kitchen window, and you can see through the window there's like an older woman just bent over gardening. as if it's just like a natural, normal, everyday, thing, like nothing untoward is going on, which is, I think, the director's point in this movie, is that all this kind of shit goes on behind closed doors. Nobody really knows about it. Everybody's oblivious, and all this is going on. So, anyway, she said she wanted to make this movie to bring spousal abuse to the forefront and get people talking about it, get people thinking about it. And, whoa, I mean, this movie definitely will. It was excellent, excellent, excellent movie. I highly recommend it if it does come out in the theaters, which I believe it will, for you to go see it. If you're the kind of person who gets upset about, seeing violent movies, then you might want to stay away. But it is very important, important issue, domestic violence, and it's done here in a masterful, masterful way. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. I was stunned. I was amazed. I loved this movie. Might not have loved the subject matter, but just seeing material like this in the hands of somebody who really knows how to handle it just gives me joy. And I love telling you guys about it. So please, if it does come out, go see it. So that's my review of 90 Minutes. I'm going to be seeing 2 more movies tomorrow, so I will be back with more video reviews then. And remember that name, Aksel Hennie. I'm telling you, this guy is gonna break into the mainstream. Like I said, please don't sell out Aksel, because you're too cool. Okay, bye.